Brenda, too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good morning. Welcome.
Thank you.
Our way normally would be to shake each and every one of your hands and to greet. That's our greeting. I don't know a whole lot, but I guess I know a whole lot about our culture and our ways. I can't speak our language. I know a few words. I know about the healing circles. I've been to a lot of self-help. I put myself through a lot over my lifetime. I'm 60 years old last month. And I'm still here, still standing on this floor for at least 28 years. And I've come and I butted heads with many, many people over the years, and they all know me up there. I got family up there. And I always stand here and I stand with my thoughts and my beliefs. I stand strong. And this is a huge, huge effort and problem. I honestly have to tell you, to me, in my mind, sometimes I think it's a losing problem because it is so huge. It affects every family. I believe it affects every family, and we're not all related. I know like some people like to say that each and every one of us, we're all related to each other. We are not. And if you knew your history, you'd know that. I finally get to meet Tom Molson. I've heard of you many years. I've been good friends with a lot of the BC members over the years too, and I've sat and I've heard a lot of things that a lot of people don't know I know. You're right. Everything I've heard from you is you're right. But the biggest problem, and I heard the word one time I think today, and the word that I latch on to is trust. That is the biggest word of all. They say if is the biggest word of all. But if there was trust, we'd have a good thing going. But there is no trust here. I've had 2 sons in my lifetime, and one's not here anymore due to alcohol and drugs, and who knows what else, fate, whatever that brought to his lifetime was meant to be. And he told me a lot of things. He was 3 years old when he was killed, and he'd be 26 turning 27 this spring. And he told me who partied with the young people. And he used to get after me about my needles because I'm diabetic. And he'd always say, "Mom, you got to hide those needles. They'll bust your window just to get that needle." And I doubted him. I questioned him. "How do you know? Why do you say that?" He said, "If you knew what I knew, you'd be scared." And it's been here a long time. And some of us know, we know the houses. I've told some of these people up here, I've told other people, where the house is. I've seen people, I've met them. I don't know whether they were gang or not. But I stood on this floor about 5 or 6 years ago. My son was alive yet. And on that big screen, they had pictures of people in this community, and they were saying, "Those are gang members. If they got tattoos like that, they're gang members. If they do this, if they do that, 2 or more constitutes a gang." And I sat here and I said, this is bull. Because the problem that we have, the reason why I bring up the word trust, is because some of those people, you may call them the hub. I've learned today they probably are the hub. Is some of those people the biggest drug dealers that were here at one time? Maybe the gaming manager or NIGA. They've gone national. Their families here. They're sitting on the BC. They're running the show. their top management, that's where the money is. And believe me, I caught hell over the years for stating things such as that. And I've also known the elders that weren't afraid to speak out too. And a lot of those elders told me, don't ever stop writing. Don't ever stop standing up. Don't ever stop telling people the way it really is. And I was probably in my late 20s when I started being told that. My grandfather told me that. My grandfather, the day before he died, he said, you're going to fool a lot of people, Kathy, because you don't look smart, and you're really, really smart. You know what you're talking about. And that's because over the years, all of my best friends have been elders. I've sat with a lot of elders, pillars of our community, and we've gossiped and talked and reported to each other what was going on. I was a bartender for 15 years at White Eagles. You may know White Eagles. It was quite the place. So I'm not afraid of a lot of things. I got hit by a car. I should be 6 feet under. But I'm still here, and I don't know why. But I wrote down a whole bunch of things I want to say. But I think the only people in this room that would understand are you people that aren't from here. Because nobody wants to hear what I have to say. That's the truth. Because I've stood here many, many times and I've said a lot of things. And I'm very disrespected. Both my sons were harassed by OPD. I was harassed by OPD. I filed a complaint and OPD didn't want to take it. They said go to the nearest police station, so I did. The police officer there took my complaint and I ended my complaint with, I believe the Oneida Police Department is the ultimate level for gang activity. And he said, why did you write that? I said, because that's what I believe. Because of the things that I've heard and witnessed happen over the years. And he said, can I have this? I said, sure, nobody else wants it. And he said, I'm going to put this in the national, whatever gang thing is. He said, it's going to be there. And I said, well, if anything ever happens to me, all the names of the people that have harassed me over the years are in that letter. Because I believe something's going to happen someday to me. I do believe that. Because I'm not afraid of the truth. I know you, just looking at each and every one of you who I can see, I know you know what I'm talking about. And I know that you believe me. I can see it. And I know who doesn't believe me. I can see that too. I had a whole list of stuff here. People don't get along. People do not get along with each other. They fight and argue. They go behind closed doors. And then I've heard, and it's not just these people here today. It's over the years. Because we've had families of thieves. And it all started when gaming came. I know a little something about gangs. I know that they're organized. I know that they're intelligent. I know they probably don't have a conscience in some cases. And they are scary. I fear them. I mean, I've been to Milwaukee, Chicago. I've been fortunate to travel the Confederacy. I know I have a lot of friends across New York and Canada from the Confederacy. I've traveled 30 years, 35 years. Both my children traveled with me. And the problem is all over, no matter where you go. It's the same. It's the same, no matter where you go. Fighting, not getting along. Somebody greedy, selfish, want the most money, the prestige. That's what it's all about. That family got more money than I did. We deserve more. We deserve this. We need to take this before the white man gets it. And that justifies what they do. The language and the culture is manipulated a lot of times. It's made people to look good. They memorize. I call it Memorex. They say the opening in memory. They don't know what they're saying. They might be repeating themselves. This is what I was told by elderly about the language. I was told a lot of things, and it's true. And the alcohol and drugs, the problem's been here forever. The alcohol and drugs, since the white man came across, we've had that problem. And that's the main problem. And then the gangs filter into that. You know, there's gang activity, and there's a lot of money. But I think part of the problem with the trust is we just went through what I would call a violation of our Constitution.
Kathy,
So
we're going to have to...
I'll wrap it up. Okay, well, I'll wrap it up with this. In the gang group, they really strive to be queen bees, the women. And we have our own queen bees right here, the bingo queens. And that should tell you everything right there. And I was fortunate to meet Governor Walker, and I was there at the meeting, and our vice chair told Governor Walker at that meeting, we don't have a gang problem. Any of those funds for gang activity, give it to Milwaukee or Chicago. They need it. We don't. And that's the problem. Thank you for your time and your patience.
Thank you. My name is Wes Martin. I'm the Vice Chairman of the Oneida Police Commission. And fortunately, I do know Tom Olson. And he's a good friend of mine for many, many, many years. And in fact, he spoke at the Glenea meeting on Friday. What I'm talking about is, with no disrespect to the council, one of the things that Mr. Molson asked is if our officer, Mr. Ninam, had ever addressed this committee in his own. If you can recall, about 2 months ago or something, he put on a 4-hour session outlining the issues with gangs and drugs on the Oneida Reservation. And one of the reasons it was in the executive session. It had to be called an executive session because a lot of the issues that he was talking about, a lot of the things he was doing, had to stay in that committee, in that room, as to compose and not compromise what he was doing and what they are trying to do with Mandy and Eric and all of our things. This is no big risk for us guys. We have this gang task force director for 3 years under the police commission, and Mandy came in. And we had, as a police commission, we seen the request of the consultant for the $75,000. With no disrespect to the gentleman or his program, what he presented, we as the commission at that time felt that $75,000 could be served to resolve and implement some of the programs under the gang initiatives that we were here on the reservation with Mandy, with that drug task force. We're not saying it was a good presentation or good gesture in the sense of criminal, but we have all of them people in place already. If we're going to spend that amount of money, we could best use that money on the reservation for existing programs or to put more programs into existence in the drug task force. And I would ask to take note specifically, Lac du Flambeau is the northern part of Wisconsin. It has its problems. It has a rural reservation. We are in a different situation because of our proximity to Green Bay. We have reservation land in Green Bay. We have projects in Green Bay. And them are the things that we need. I sit here and I appreciate the presentation. I know most of these gentlemen here from Lake to Flambeau, and I applaud their efforts. But we have a lot of qualified people within our own police department, within our, and in our education. Mr. Ninam, again, came to the, I'm director of the elderly program. He came and did a presentation to us. We understand that. And on that child protection board, he's in, we have that. And I appreciate it, but as we even wrote a letter, not opposed to it, but as an alternative to the consultant from the police commission. And it is, I think he's a qualified person. I don't disagree with that. I don't agree that what he talked about. I believe the same initiatives that he talked about are the same initiative that Matt Dinham and the police department, Eric and Mandy are doing. And I asked this BC committee to certainly look at that. That money could, yes, be used in one of our initiatives at I appreciate what they're doing in Flambeau. I think it meets their needs. I don't think we need to go to that extent because we have all them people in place here. So I'd ask the BC when, if that does come to a vote, no disrespect to the chairman and his effort, but I believe that we believe that it'd be best if that money remained in the community.
When the guys, my name is Yvonne Mativier, and I did not ask to speak, but Buffy suggested that I do. So that's cool. When I saw the guys from...
Hold on, Yvonne, you did ask when I was back there.
I did not.
Anyways.
In any case, that's not the point.